Have you ever wondering how solar power works for businesses and manufacturing plants in Vietnam? So in today's video, let's deep dive into how CNI solar actually work in Vietnam. Hello everyone, this is Trang. I work in the renewable energy sector here in Vietnam, and in today's video, I'll talk about what is CNI solar, how companies in Vietnam are using it, and why many more manufacturing plants here in Vietnam are switching to green energy. In this case, it's solar power. So before I go on into the video, this is a reminder to you that as the entire video will be cut into parts. So if there's already parts and sections that you already know and you want to skip it, please click on the description below where I list the time frame for each section, and you can click on it to move to your desired part. So CNI stands for commercial and industrial. So CNI solar simply means that a solar system installed on factories, shopping malls, or office building, or even warehouse. Usually those systems are installed on rooftops. And you know, in Vietnam, there's a lot of manufacturing plants have large roof capability. So instead of leaving that roof empty, majority of them are now switching to green energy. From this case, it is to use solar power to generate sunlight into electricity. Let's make it super simple. So one is the solar panel produce electricity. During the day, the sunlight hits the panel on the roof, and these panels generate electricity, which is called DC power. And then an inverter converts it into AC electricity. So this type of electricity will be used by the manufacturing plant. Here is the key point. The factory uses the solar electricity directly. It powers machines, lighting, air conditioning, everything. So instead of buying electricity from EVN, the manufacturing plants, the clients, will use their own solar power first. And in Vietnam today, the concept of using solar power for CNI is for self-consumption. This means that the system, the solar system, will be sized to the factory, so the factory can use electricity generated from the system for their own use. So let's imagine you have a factory in an industrial zone in Huế, for example, Phong Điền industrial zone. The factory works from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and you have a rooftop solar system. And during the daytime, this time frame is actually when the solar produce electricity. So this will equal, meaning that solar energy will be for self-consumption. They don't sell to the grid. It's just for the factory to use for themselves. Second is, because they use the electricity directly from the solar system, it means that they will less use the electricity from EVN. So it also means that their electricity bill to EVN will be lower, and the electricity bill that they have to pay for the RE generator will be at a very competitive price. And for solar CNI in Vietnam, there are two main models at the moment. The first one is the client. They will invest on themselves. So either they have a very strong capital, or from the headquarter company pour the capital into them, so they can have the upfront investment to build the system and then save up for the long term. The other option is through a third-party investor, and this way is actually more common. This means that an investor will come in, they will design the system, own, operate, and sell back the electricity generated from the system to the client. And from the client side, they don't have to pay upfront. So this model is usually zero capex and zero opex. They don't have to O&M throughout the entire duration of the contract, because the investor already take care of that. but in return they have to pay back the money of electricity that they use from the system to the investor. So this model called PPA, so Power Purchase Agreement. And right now in Vietnam, the term of the contract may vary from different investors. So first of all, it's all about money. For those fiscal year, lower electricity costs will mean that the protection from rising of electricity prices, and to also reduce the operational electricity costs as well. The second point is to meet the demand from their client. Let's say, for example, for IKEA, they demand their supplier in Vietnam or in other regions to have movement toward green energy, because at group level, IKEA have a commitment toward net zero. So for those factories that working with IKEA in Vietnam, the easiest way for them right now, besides having many CSR activities, are to use solar power. Because they have a solar system, it will be likely that they can obtain what is called IREC, renewable energy certificate, to give back to IKEA as a group to continue working together. And then lastly is to tackle some of the scheme like CBAM when exporting to European market. So many global brands right now actually prefer working with suppliers using green energy, and factories in Vietnam are no exception. And very honestly speaking, as someone who worked in the RE sector in Vietnam, especially C&I solar in the past 5 years, even though I am a marketing lady, and I do lack of knowledge in terms of business development, but I do have an insight whereby there's challenges when developing C&I project in Vietnam. So the challenges would be included. So first is the policy just keep changing from time to time. You can see that within a year, the policy would change a lot. And the second issue is regarding to the grid. So the grid has some limitation that because of that, I will do in a separate video, but it will prevent the growth of the solar power project in Vietnam, especially for C&I at the moment. So because of that, companies and manufacturing plants, if they want to install solar power, I think majority of the time they want to work with a third-party investor, so they have a unit to tackle some of the challenges that the market is having at the moment. And once again, I know that a lot of the information I share is very limited based on what I understand and what I research. So if I'm lacking any information, please feel free to comment below. Educate me, please. I would love to learn more about our sector, and with my very humble self and limited knowledge, the video will have a lot of flaws, so please feel free to give me any feedback and based on your experience and your expertise as well. So that's actually how C&I solar actually works in Vietnam. Panels on the roof, electricity used directly in the factory, lower cost and cleaner energy. Simple idea but very powerful impact. And that's it. So if you want to know more about renewable energy in Vietnam, please remember to hit like and subscribe to the channel. In this channel, I will convey many topics related to renewable energy development in Vietnam, and also from time to time we'll compare it to other markets like Thailand, Malaysia. Thanks for watching. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại.